All right. Well, let's jump over to the West then. I'll go 14-1. You go 14-1. Then we'll talk about it. In the
All right.
West, at 14, I've got San Jose. At 13, I've got RSL. At 12, I've got Austin. At 11, I've got Houston. At 10, I've got Vancouver. At 9, I've got the Galaxy. At 8, hello, Minnesota fans. You're at playoffs. At 7, I got Colorado. At 6, I've got Portland. At 5, I've got Dallas. At 4, I've got Sporting KC. At 3, I've got Seattle. At 2, I've got Nashville. And at 1, I've got LAFC.
I've got to say, our Western Conference
It's got to be very close. I know we have
very similar.
Yeah,
nothing nearly as crazy as the East.
No.
I can tell you for a fact, 9 through 14, we have the same, not the same order, but the same teams.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so I'll run through mine, and then we'll have some discussion. I took some risks here with the conference standings, but I went San Jose 14, RSL 13. I got Vancouver 12. I got Galaxy 11.
Ooh.
Houston 10. I got Austin 9. I got Colorado 8. Dallas 7. I got Minnesota 6. Portland 5. SKC 4. Nashville 3. Seattle 2. And Steve Cherundolo's Maxime Crepeau's LAFC 1.
Up top. That was a good one. So before we recorded, I mentioned having a very interesting tidbit from the San Jose. So we'll go 14-12 again.
Oh yeah.
From the San Jose. All right. So we posted a clip for our not so deep dive on San Jose, and we had a fan reach out and ask us some questions and comments and things, and we were having a conversation. And currently he's saying that in preseason, they're using a back three in what looks like a 3-6-1 with the second forward dropping into that midfield line. Their back three are Nathan, Tanner Beeson, and who do you think the third one is?
Hold on, give me a sec. I do want to guess, but I want to pull up the roster.
Okay, go quick.
Because I don't know who plays on San Jose.
I know you're not going to get it. That's why I have to ask you.
See, my brain would say like, oh, it's maybe like Francisco Calvo, because that would make sense. But the way that you're phrasing it makes me think it's like Jackson Ewell.
It is Jackson Ewell as a ball-playing center back.
I was right.
Are you ready? It gets better. It gets better. Judson, the center defensive mid, is being used as some sort of pivot to play center defensive mid and right back at the same time.
How does that even work?
They tried this at the men's national team with Tyler Adams, like 2018, where he would start at right back. In attack, he'd go play defensive mid. Then in defense, he'd come back to right back. There's nothing about this team that feels anything secure. If this team wins more than 10 games, I'm eating my socks. I don't know.
So what is the other midfield? Is it Gregorius and Remedi then?
Yeah, and so my guess is it's Nathan Beeson, Jackson Ewell with I know, right? With Judson, Grey Goose, maybe Remedi. I don't know if he was in there, but what's happening is they're playing Chofis as like an attacking striker, and he's that guy who's being number 6, and then Montero's being the number 10. It's just such a mess. There's nothing about it that gives me any sort of yes.
Who's playing up top? Anybody? You said that was Chofi.
I think it's Benji Kajanovic and Chofis. And Benji is.
Are they really going to spend the other season not playing Kate Cowell?
I think Kate Cowell plays on the wing in this formation. I don't know. I don't.
Honestly, I think Almeida's just given up. I think he's just doing this for the memes at this. I mean, So based on the way that they're lining up, it doesn't sound like Christian Espinosa's in this team.
No, I think it's Espinoza and Cowell with.
I thought Judson was playing like right back though.
No. Judson's playing, so it's.
Yeah, we need the whiteboard.
We're going to the whiteboard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 GK back here, right? So if this is Judson here, what's happening is if we have the ball.
Hold on. When you talk, you got to face the camera because otherwise it's hard to hear you.
Okay. When San Jose has the ball, this is what it looks like. When San Jose does not have the ball,
that's when he goes to right back.
That's when he comes in here. And my guess is Montero back, Chofis Lopez back. So then it turns into this, because my if I have to understand this correctly, Jackson Ewell is filling the space here. There's no way he's just sitting at center back. So you got slide in, drop back, step up. The shape must be gnarly.
So you think Ewell goes forward when they go defensive, but then when they go attacking, he drops into the center back role
and picks it up? I don't know. I wish I could watch a San Jose game like on stream. I think San Jose is the team we're streaming first in this season because I need to watch this system. It's unbelievable. If this is true,
who's up top with trophies? Oh, you said it was Kakanovich or something.
Yeah, Benji or because I think it's Espinoza, Cowell, Trophies, JM, Grey Goose, Judson.
Yeah, and then the back three that you're talking about.
And then Remedy fills in. That's how I'd have to assume it lines up.
Okay, so then
this is where Soccer Nerd 101 comes in, because you look at that and you're like, okay, that's not too bad. Then you put tactics involved and these arrows come in and you're like, this is a mess. So great.
Oh yeah, it seems like a total disaster.
It didn't work for the men's national team. It's not going to work for Jackson Ewell.
He's running out of people to back pass to. He's only got the goalkeeper.
Him and JT Marcinkowski, best friends.
JT is going to be put in some bad spots this year. That's my guess. Bold prediction.
I'm going to move on. I think we waffled on enough.
Nah, that was funny though. All right, yeah, that was totally worth it. Go on.
Yeah, it was. I thought that was really good. RSL at 13 lost their best player, barely made the playoffs the year before. Brought in a striker who's probably going to bump one of your two to the bench. You brought in Scott Caldwell? That's about it. I don't know. I don't see this team being anywhere near as good as most of the teams in the West this year. Austin at 12. Urudi's a good improvement up top, I think. Ring going forward. And they actually got a comment on this too on the YouTube video that they said that the whole signing for Valencia was for Ring to be freed up forward.
Let's go.
Good for you.
It was me. It was my burner account.
It doesn't matter though. I don't care because it's not like you're releasing Caden Clark, for example. Not at the level, right? But Caden Clark is an attacking midfielder. It's not like you've tied him to center defensive mid role and now you brought somebody in who can let him go forward, right?
You should have used Yu Kubo as an example.
No.
That's another episode idea. Players playing out of position.
Made some good depth moves, Ethan Finley and such. But nothing makes me think that this team is like super playoff ready yet. I think you probably got one or two more years before that happens.
Ethan Finley. Oh, you were talking about Austin.
I was. Okay.
I thought you were still talking about ourselves. Like, I thought Ethan Finley went to Austin.
We're just talking about Alex Ring.
Yeah, that's fair.
You don't listen to me anyway. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got San Jose last. Basically the same thing you were saying. I think this team's going to be a wreck this year. I don't think Almeida makes it the full season. But somehow San Jose score lots of goals every year. They just give up about a bajillion. And with MLS 4.0, it might be 2 bajillion this year, honestly. RSL 13. I could almost make the argument for, oh man, like 90% of the teams in this league that they improved this offseason and got better. RSL did not. They went backwards.
They did.
They lost their best player, arguably, whether you think it's him or Krylak. And they didn't bring anybody to replace this. Like they brought in very MLS like 2.0 signings.
Yep.
They brought in veteran experience from within the league for the most part. I feel like this team's just, it's not good enough on paper. If something were to happen to Damir Krylak, I can't imagine what this team would look like.
It would look like San Jose.
Yeah. I even think San Jose would probably have more talent on paper. I do think RSL still have some good players in there, like Aaron Herrera, the guy in between goal that we don't talk about.
Snake.
Yeah. And Justin Glad. So I think defensively that will probably be their strongest point. But to say that those three are your strongest point in your team, probably the reason why I got them in 13th. 12th, I got Vancouver. I think Vancouver they struck lightning at the end of last season and got red hot and made the playoffs on the back of Ryan Gauld and Brian White. Ryan and Brian. I like that. That's a good duo name. But I don't see them carrying that momentum into this season. I don't like the moves that they made. I don't trust Hasal on goal yet. I don't like the bringing in of Tristan Blackman for the back line to pair with.
I hope Tristan Blackman is like finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. And
if he is, I won't make another episode. I said that about something else too. I think it was like FCC doing well or something. But
yeah,
if Tristan Blackman is a finalist for the Defensive Player of the Year, I will quit the podcast.
We need a list, like a whiteboard behind us on each episode that's like, if this happens, podcast over forever.
Yeah, exactly. FCC finish in the playoffs, podcast over forever. Yeah, I don't like them defensively. And as we talked about, this is shifting towards a very attacking league. So that will hurt them, I think, a lot. And if they don't get the production out of Ryan Gauld and Brian White, I got question marks. I know that there are other guys that can step up. They got Christian Dijome, they got Daibar Casero, do they still have Cavallini? Maybe Cavallini. So there's guys there other than those two to produce, but I don't know. I don't see this team being good enough to make the playoffs. They rode. The only reason they made the playoffs was because Brian White and Ryan Gauld got hot.
Yep.
Otherwise, they were floating outside of the playoffs, and I just think that's the same case this year.
I agree. All right, 11 through 8. I got Houston. I think Ferreira is a good start to get the team back into business. But I'm not really sold on Nagamura as a head coach. I don't think FIFA Paco. Whoa. I don't think Pico can hit FIFA Paco. Man. It's late, guys. I don't think Papa Pico hits double digits again. And I'm not, they just cut Joe Corona. I don't know.
They cut Joe Corona?
Yeah, they bought him out to make room for other signings. But right now, on paper, with a week before the season, that center mid is not amazing. Back five would leave Parker, Steres, and Hadebe exposed. Clark and goal is better than Maric, but I think you're still a few years out on Houston. I got Vancouver at 10. Same thing, kind of what you said. I think the magic wears off. I don't think Brian White has that type of goal scoring ability. And again, I think Ryan Gauld's going to get figured out. I think people are going to figure out how he rolls, and kind of like Kaku, he'll drop off a little bit. And the CM spot's a little weak for my liking. Maybe Chow Alexander changes that if he's healthy, but that would have been a good one for comeback player of the year. At 9, I got Galaxy. I don't know how Costa fits in yet. Cabral and Grandsir were your two best players on the wings last year, and one of them's going to have to sit. So you're going to need Costa to improve on that. Chicharito's going to be in the goals, but not sold on the back line. I think they'll probably struggle a little bit this year. Same thing as the last couple of years. They'll be in amongst it. They'll be in the mix and then come down to the last day and RSL knock them out. The RSL will not be in the playoffs, though. I just want to make that clear. They will beat them on the final day.
Well, we'll see about that. RSL might just bicycle kick their way in.
And then last at 8, I've got Minnesota. I think this is the year.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I think this is the year.
Start the violence.
Start of the violence. Yep, hook into my veins. I need a Minnesota scarf just so that I can be like, we are friends.
They're not going to sell you a Minnesota scarf.
They're just really thin, right? I think we talked about this in our deep dive. They just are super, super thin. And then they did just bring back Luis Amaria. But they brought him back after I prepped this. So that might push them into the playoffs. But like you had mentioned, I don't think he gets in over Hunu. So he's really just coming off the bench to be an impact player. You've got Debasi and Boxall, Chase Gasper, Metnier, and then Will Trapp, Hassani Dotson, Reynoso, Robin Ludd, Fragapane, and Hunu. Everybody else after that, I'm not sure. I mean, you got O'Neal Fisher, who can play on either wingback spot. You've got Ja'Cory Hayes, who can fill in for the center back spot, but I don't love him either. And then everything else is just like, So I think they're thin, and I think when somebody like Reynoso or Hunu or Fragapane are figured out, I don't think they have somebody they can replace that guy with to get the goals. So that's why I have them at 8.
No, you have them at 8 because you want violence with Minnesota for some reason.
I don't love the violence. The violence just comes naturally, That's the next one I'm ordering. I'm ordering a Minnesota scarf.
All right, 11, I got Galaxy. I'm not high on Galaxy this year. I think that they struggled big time at the end of last season, and that's what knocked them out of the playoffs inevitably, because they were very strong at the start of the season. They looked great. Chicharito was banging in goals for fun. Then Chicharito got hurt, and the team still was okay for a little while. But at the end of the season, they were not good. And I just feel like that form is going to carry into this season. I just think too much is riding on Chicharito. If he gets hurt again, I think they're really in trouble. And even if he stays healthy, he's going to score lots of goals for them. I don't know if there's enough there to support him and get him into the playoffs. I mean, we've seen it before with LA. They had Zlatan. Zlatan scored bags of goals for them, and they still didn't make the playoffs. I mean, it's more than just signing one good player. So,
yep.
And I don't think the guys that they have around Chicharito are strong enough to get them into the playoffs, in my opinion. I got Houston at 10. I really like the signing of Ferreira. I think that's super exciting and fun and very off-brand for Houston. So, good on you, Houston, for breaking out of your comfort zone. I think he'll play well with Tyler Pasher and FIFA up top. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. A little disappointed you didn't poke fun at it. I called him FIFA for you.
I'm sorry. I just got an update that was Transfer MLS's predictions. So I was reading those through to compare them to ours. But I think from now on, he is FIFA Pico, isn't he?
He joins the group with Jordan and Aaron Austin.
Trusty, yeah, know about it.
And Dwayne.
Dwayne, yes, we need.
Yeah, we're building a good 11 here.
We really are.
All right, rest of the Houston team, it's okay. I didn't realize they bought out Joe Corona. I don't like that move, but they do still have some good midfielders. They have Derek Jones. They have Darwin Surin, they have Matthias Vera. The back line is questionable to me. Valentin's he's a veteran. They got Steres, Hadebe, and Parker at center back. I think center back is definitely their strong spot in the back line. Clark's definitely, I would say, an improvement over March, but I don't think it's that much of an improvement over him. So I think that they're making steps in the right direction. They're just not there yet. Ferreira is a fantastic player. That's the guy you need to build your team around. So we'll see in the future if that's what they start to do. At 9, I've got Austin. a bit ambitious on Austin. I will agree. Their concern last year, I would say, was scoring goals. They had
Sure.
the lowest goal scored in the league, even behind FCC. And I think that they made good efforts to try and fix that. I think it's good that they recognize that that was a problem area and are making improvements in regards to that. They brought in a ton of players, so odds are at least like one or two of them work out. That's at least my thinking there. If they get more goals this season, I definitely think that they'll be better defensively, despite the fact they lost Beasler. Their midfield's strong. We talked about Valencia and Ring already. So I expect a much better year out of Austin this year. I think they're making steps in the right direction. Hopefully start to put the pieces together, get a little bit more consistency and chemistry, and maybe next year add a couple more pieces and make that playoff run. And then 8, I know you were excited about this one last episode. I got the Colorado Rapids from 1 to 8 out of the playoffs. My bold prediction. And I don't even know why, honestly.
Because you love hatred with the Colorado Rapids.
This is my Minnesota.
It is. It definitely is.
I don't like the fact that they're losing Trusty, and I think Keita has good potential. I'm concerned about his ability at the moment, his current ability. I think Trusty was a super important part to this team, and probably a big reason as to why Yarbrough joined Golden Gloves last year. I don't see Yarbrough doing that again. I think that was a result of a strong back line that I think without Trusty will have issues. Going forward, nobody was like an out and out like top scorer, I don't believe. I know Rubio is, I think, their attacker. They've got Jordan Lewis on their team.
Oh, we got to add him to the list too.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised we missed him. That's weird. The team, I think, absolutely overachieved last year in getting first in the West. I think the West improved a ton, just within the teams that were there last year. On top of the fact that they've added Nashville to the West now, the competition's a lot harder. I know you're high on Max Alves. For some reason, I'm not. I don't really even know why.
Because you want the smoke. We've been through this.
I guess so. I guess I just inevitably want the smoke. So yeah, I think that they overachieved last season, and that now they're going to come back to earth, and earth is right outside the playoffs, in my opinion.
So I will say that is a bold Colorado pick, but nowhere near as bold as Will Forbes put them.
Where did he put them?
12th.
Wow.
So just to go through Will Forbes, and this is since we've already spoken about ours. In the East, 14-1, Montreal, Charlotte, DC, FC Cincinnati, Inter Miami, Columbus at 9, Chicago at 8. So you know these are wrong. Toronto at 7, New England at 6, Philly at 5, Red Bull at 4, Atlanta at 3, Orlando at 2, and NYC at 1. In the West, Austin in 14, Vancouver 13, Colorado 12, San Jose 11, Houston 10, RSL 9, SKC at 8, Minnesota 7, Nashville 6, Dallas 5, LAFC 4, Portland 3, LA Galaxy 2.
What?
Charlotte 1. This dude's on something. I love it.
That is insane. His comment section has got to be blowing.
Oh, it is blowing up. There are a lot of people who have never seen a game before, and apparently he's one of them because that's all I'm reading.
No, that totally but that checks out though, because that's how the standings are going to look by the end of the season.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
It never turns out the way that you expect it will.
Yeah, SKC, Shallowy and Russell are going to tear their ACLs and they're going to finish 8th.
Yeah, probably. I mean, they'll probably finish like 14th. This isn't for anybody that's listening from Europe. This league does not function that way. We don't have the top 6 that finish in the top 6 every single year, or like even remotely close. This rotates like crazy. Like a team Toronto finished 2nd in 2020, 2nd in the league. All right, that's like Liverpool, right? Imagine Liverpool then the next season finished 19th in the league. Because that's what they did. Toronto finished second to last the season after that.
And there are more teams too.
Yeah,
So they finished worse.
It's insane. It is.
It's unbelievable.
It's impossible to predict.
Yeah. So we'll go 7-4. I've got Colorado at 7. Not sure how they pulled out first in the West last year, but everybody around them got better, and they brought in one.
We're both on the Colorado hate train. I love it.
We brought one U22 player in. I think they'll be okay, but they won't be top 4. I would not be shocked to see them out, by the way. Kellen Acosta was massive for that team.
Yeah.
6, I got Portland. Everybody back from their MLS Cup run last year outside of their goalkeeper, and that role is a little bit unsure. Blanco being another year older, not really sure who's going to be starting up top. I think they're in the playoffs, but they're fighting for it. 5, I got Dallas. They went and spent that Pepe money, and they spent it good. Ferreira on a DP contract, Ariola and Velasco on the wings, Hollingshead replacement, upgrading goal. They're not going to blow I don't think they'll blow anybody out of the water, but they'll be a playoff team. And then 4, I got SKC. I think Shallowy takes a step back, but he'll still be okay. Russell will be in the same boat, probably take a step back. I think Gotti Kinda is ready for a massive year. I'm really excited for Gotti Kinda this year. And no Polito's going to hurt, but they've already got somebody in on the way. He'll get up to speed. They'll be fine.
All right. I got DeLoss at 7. I'm very surprised that you even recognize they have players this year.
How can I not? They've got Greg's favorite player playing on one wing.
That's true. That is very true. Yeah, they had a very good offseason this year. They spent the Pepe money very well. I would say for the most part, other than Pepe, they've done a pretty good job keeping a hold of their young, talented players, such as like Ferreira, for example, which is good because then I think that they filled the pieces around them pretty well. Bringing in Paul Ariel is fantastic. Swapping Hollingshead for Farfan, I think, was a good move for both teams because LAFC is probably more win now than Dallas is, but Dallas is playing probably more so for the future and developing young players. They're good at that. So Farfan should be a good player for them. And then, yeah, I think overall that they made a lot of improvements in this team. It's not so much reliant on one player anymore. And I think it's going to show, and they're going to make the playoffs this year. 6, I got Minnesota because I don't hate Minnesota. I don't have beef with them. I think they have a strong team. I like Hunu. I like Fragapane. I think Reynoso is going to bounce back after. I still think he was good last season. I just don't think he put up the box score numbers as well. But I think even in that regard, he's going to bounce back. I still, for whatever reason, just don't think that this team is at that top of the West level. I don't really know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see this team being at the top of the West level. Maybe it's just a factor of lacking depth in areas, but I don't know. I can't put my finger exactly on it. Portland, I got 5. Portland is pretty consistent every year. They're always in the playoff picture. They're usually very tough to beat. For whatever reason, they don't seem to finish towards the top of the West much, at least from what I remember. But they're always in the picture. They got good players on the team. Yumi Chara, they got Diego Chara, they got Felipe Mora. They got talent there, and they're pretty consistent to the team that they brought out last year that made MLS Cup final. So I see them doing pretty well again. And then SKC at 4, pretty much a lot of what you said as well. I think that Shallowy and I'll say I think Shallowy probably peaked last year. I can't see him reproducing what he did. I don't necessarily think he's gonna like completely fall off again, but I don't see him hitting MVP finalist numbers again. Russell is definitely a super talented player. I think he'll still be probably the most important player for them in terms of the attack. I think they're super solid defensively still, and in the midfield as well. And I agree with you. I think we're going to see a step up of Gotti Kinda this year. So I think that will help to offset Shallowy falling off a bit. And I think SKC will still stick around probably towards the top. But I think they drop out of the top three with the addition of Nashville this year.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's finish this off. 3. I got Seattle. I mean, look at that front five, right? And the back line that gave the least goals in the league last year, all coming back with the healthy Stephen Fry. The only reason I don't have them at 1 is because I think they're going to have times where they have so much talent they can't get them all on the field at once, and they're going to pick the wrong lineup a few more times than they usually do. I've been high on Nashville ever since the last episode. He's got the RBNY rejects rolling, is the way I will put it. He's 4 deep up top. He's got a really strong midfield back line, one of the best goalkeepers in the league. They're going to be very good in the West this year. Look for a breakout season from Ake Loba. They bought him 2020. Really hasn't seen much of him because CJ Sapong could not be taken out of the team. But I would not be surprised if he gets lots of good looks this year. And finally, LAFC at the top. I know in my bold prediction I said Sharundalo is going to mess it up. I don't think there's a physical way he can mess this one up. Aronga ready for a full year. Vela healthy. Rodriguez, Acosta, Crepeau, Daniil Henry, Franco Escobar, Mamadou Fall. I mean, you're looking at a team that is just
don't forget Cifuentes. He's your
MVP candidate, baby. There's just unbelievable amounts of talent on this team. And I almost think it's going to be one of those things where all he has to do is show up and say play, and they'll just be fine. This is going to be a good team to watch in 2022.
Yeah, my top 3, same teams, just swapped. I just swapped Nashville and Seattle. I think Nashville probably one of, if not the deepest team in the league. They have just depth everywhere. The team is super well organized and they know how to play together. They're going to continue the success that they had in the East and just carry it right over to the West. Doesn't matter if it's a change of teams. I don't know what it is exactly that's keeping me from putting them number 1. I guess maybe the attack. Like I think a lot runs through Hani Mukhtar, and I'm all for Hani, keeping up that productivity that he brought last season because he was phenomenal and should have been MVP. But we've had that conversation a million times.
We have.
I don't know if we get that again from him this year. I imagine probably so. I mean, he was on my list again for MVP finalist, but in the off chance that he doesn't, like if he gets injured, then I would be questioning where the attack centers through. Because I think Sapong is good, but I think he needs help. Leal is, I think, an explosive player, but he's out on the wings. I don't know how he would do in a central role and in terms of like being a playmaker. And I don't know if we're getting a third DPOTY from Walker Zimmerman this year. And I would be very curious to see if the Nashville defense starts to slip up, how Joe Willis does in goal. Because Joe Willis was never like a big name prior to Nashville, but ever since he's gotten into Nashville, he just keeps tons of clean sheets. And my theory has always been that it's the back line that really is helping that cause a lot. Not that Joe isn't, of course, helping to the cause. I think, of course, he is. But I do think the back line definitely helps big time. And the midfield as well, Dax and adding Sean Davis as well. It's going to be great. They're going to be super strong. I think these top 3, in my opinion, are easily the top 3 in the West. I think they are a tier above the rest. Seattle, as you said, there's so much attacking talent in this team. It's crazy. It's so incredible. And they're deep too. I think they brought back Freddie Montero and Will Bruin too, right?
They did.
Yeah, this team it's so crazy good going forward, and they're great. I mean, they have one of the best midfielders in the league in Chapalo. They have a rock solid defense with Yamar, Arriaga, Alex Roldan, and Stephen Fry in goal. I mean, this team is so good. I mean, honestly, going through these teams, I want to put them all first. Like these last 3 teams are so good on paper. It's so hard to pick between the 3 of them. I guess my concern with Seattle is Rusnak's new to the team, so we don't exactly know how he's going to fit in. J-Mo is coming back from an injury, so we don't exactly know what we're getting from J-Mo. So I think that, and where are they going to factor in Ladero? Is he going to be a super sub? Is he going to get game time? I just think there's a little bit too many question marks in terms of Seattle attack for me to stick them number one. But, I mean, of course I'm going to pick LAFC one. I got to put my boy Maxime Crepeau up there. That's my hype train this year, Maxime Crepeau.
We all need to find one.
Yeah, I think this LAFC team on paper just looks so fun. I'm super big on Christian Aranjo. If you've listened to the podcast, you already know that. Vela is obviously Vela. I think he's going to come back this season like fully motivated, and with a super strong team around him, he's going to ball out. Honestly, I very much thought about putting him on the MVP list as well, but I tried to stray away from putting two LAFC players on there. I think Crepeau is a criminally underrated goalkeeper in this league, and now he has a superstar team around him to kind of help him shine. And I love the additions of Hollingshead, Franco Escobar, Mamadou
I didn't even add
Fall.
Hollingshead on there. That's funny.
Yeah, Mamadou Fall's, I think, a very up-and-coming defender in this league. Their midfield is super strong with Cifuentes, and even though they lost Atuesta, imagine this team still at Atuesta. It's insane. Insane. Granted, I don't think they would be able to hit salary rules if they still had Atuesta, but
Right. Inter Miami didn't have to do it, and
that's
all they do is rebuild the entire team.
rules are just a suggestion.
Exactly. You can be on the Crepeau hype train. I'm gonna take the Jackson Ewell at center back hype train.
Oh yeah,
We'll see who wins.
I want to join on that hype train too. I mean, that's a fun one. But yeah, that's pretty much it. LAFC to the moon.